Hey, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, I wanted to go ahead and finally get a fixing on these fog lights that I got going on here. So I really hate how they give you freaking housing. They give you a plastic little piece that just does nothing but sit there. It's so weird. It's like, why not just put them in there, you know? But yeah, so I finally went and got some fog lights. I'm so ready to put these guys in. They're just gonna make the truck look so great and better lighting. So I'm ready. Yeah, they're not color matched right now, which is fine. I gotta repaint the whole bumper anyway. As you can tell, she's she's a little beat up. I mean, I've been to Florida, Virginia, Georgia a couple times, so she's kind of getting a little beat up here, but we'll fix up on that later. I got some fog lights off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. And then I also have a wiring harness. So again, on Amazon, pretty cheap. Has everything that you need. So it's got your relay, your fuse, your button on it, and your two terminals to connect to each of the fog lights. So what you gotta do is whenever you are getting ready to start this, there's no way to access getting those fog light housings out just from the back side of the bumper. So you actually have to take the whole bumper off again. I know it's a painful process. I've taken this whole front off at least 10 times minimum. So it's super easy. You can look at my other videos. I've taken off the bumper and my color matching one. I've taken off when doing the tow hooks. So if you want to go check out an in-depth process how to get this on, go ahead. But I'm gonna skip to that and then catch up with you in a second. So now it's off again. You gotta take this piece off right here to get access to the bolts behind there. That is unbelievable. These two freaking pieces just to get to those 4 little bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whenever you're installing these guys, you're gonna have to take these clips off right here because they don't come with it in the package. So reuse these little, I don't know what these things even are. It's what you screw into basically. So reuse the screws. These things right here. All I did was use like a screwdriver to kind of get them started, and then I grabbed some like little mini needle nose or whatever, and then you just yank them off. But one thing I did notice is when I put this one in, if you'll notice how, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little gap. Like, I mean, it's just a tiny gap in there in between the fog light and the inside of the bumper. So, and you can kind of tell that it doesn't look like it's seated properly, but I mean, this is tightened in, this is like all good to go. So what I'm thinking is there's a little bit of curvature to the plastic. Maybe whenever the sun hits it and that little pressure on the back, because I tightened them down pretty good just for this reason. Hopefully when the sun hits it, it'll start to kind of like, you know, loosen up a little bit and expand and kind of seal properly. Maybe might fill these gaps and stuff like that, but you know, it's nothing terrible. But we're all good to basically put the bumper back on and actually get started in the wiring process. So now we're gonna go ahead and go underneath. I'm not gonna show you just yet. It looks pretty cool from where I'm standing, and I can see like just how it's gonna look like at the very end. So it looks great so far. Honestly, it's not a big difference with the black versus the color match. Basically, I'm just gonna leave it just like this, and we'll work with that. I wanna be able to access most things if needed. So I'm gonna leave all this off for now. Let's go ahead and get to work and deciphering the wiring harness. All right, guys, it's been about a good hour and a half or so, and we ran into a problem at first. And I was gonna talk about it, but I might be able to figure this out. It's gonna be close, but it'll work. So basically, I have the wire coming down from the battery, hypothetically, and what it's gonna do is, there's the fog light right there, okay? So that they would work right there. I'm gonna figure out a way to snake it and make it probably a little more slack, but we come across and we find out that they indeed touch. It's gonna be close here. So I'll figure it out how to snake it so it doesn't get in the way of anything. If I wanna take the bumper off, like I'm not gonna pull my entire fog lights out. So I'll figure that out, get that to work. But then let me take you up top. So we come here and you gotta have your relay. Okay, so I got the relay. I'm gonna ground it back here, right? Just like kind of how I did my fuse for my amp. And the inline fuse that's with that is gonna come here. It just barely, this sucker right here would just barely touch, but that's okay. That's all we needed to do is just touch. Black obviously will make it, and then the switch is the close part. But we follow it, and here's the switch. You're like, okay, Hunter, well, what's the problem? Well, here's the problem. Hypothetically, everything goes to plan. And if you know anything about rigging something, it never goes to plan. So this is about all I got. So from that rebar where that connector is to about where my hand is, that's all I got to go through the firewall. And then you got all this to work around, you know, and maneuver just to be able to figure out how to get it up. So, you know, it's, like I said, it's gonna be close. So we're gonna see what I can finagle, but I'm just letting you know this is a situation. So if you're doing this, I recommend you getting a bigger harness. I think this was the 14-foot harness, which I thought would have been okay. I always probably should have just stuck to the rule. I'd rather have more than not needed than need not have it type deal. So we're learning here, obviously, as we go. But yeah, if you're doing this, get you a longer harness. Save you the headache of trying to figure this out and all that good stuff, or having to extend it yourself type deal. So yeah, I'll get to wiring this stuff up, and then I'll let you know how it goes. All right, you guys. So I've discovered how I can make this work. I actually took off the little plastic skid plate, which I need to get replaced in here soon. But yeah, I took that off so I could get access to right here. So basically, there's the factory wiring harness that comes from over here, and it follows here. And I was like, well, let me use that for fog lights, and it actually works. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the connections ready, and then just kind of like map this out. So it should be all good. They give you these right here. So what you do is you just stick that guy in there like that, and you crimp it down right here, and it's supposed to have a good solid connection. You do that for both wires, and then you come and heat shrink them. So I got my heat gun ready to go. But yeah, it's pretty easy. Obviously soldering is the best connection, but you actually need this. So crimping it down shouldn't hurt it at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm getting it down now. I was very, I guess, overly optimistic about everything at first, and then it kind of went downhill for me, at least what I thought. And now things are starting to make way, and we're figuring it out. So I'll go ahead and show you what I've kind of done. I have my wire from my fuse and everything coming here. What I wanted to do is I wanted to follow this all the way down. So see where that harness is still going? Where that harness is back there? So this is gonna follow that. It's a little loose right now because I haven't tightened anything down. But we have this connected right now. And then we're gonna follow these harnesses right here. It goes over, and there's the fog light, and then it connects just above that thing. And then boom, there you go. And look, there's not much tension. They're okay, they're free. So that's actually really good. And I'll zip tie these things down whenever it comes due time. So there's that, and then also this. And like beforehand, when I was talking about dealing with this guy, so I went ahead and disconnected the button off these guys right here. And then I found these things at Lowe's, copper, it's like copper wire. I didn't have a hanger, okay? So what I did is I basically took some, like a vice grip, and just pried it as straight as possible. And these little spikes are here pretty sharp. So it's perfect for getting through that firewall. I took a different approach. So instead of going through the firewall from the outside, I went ahead through the inside. I went ahead and poked it through to see, and then I'll take these guys up right here to that guy right there, and then I'm actually gonna like make a little slit right there with my like X-Acto knife. So I'll make a slit there to help it like go through all the way, because this is a lot to pull through at once. So we'll help it out a little bit. And then, yeah, so once we do that, we'll figure out from the inside, and then we'll get the fuse and the relay connected, and then the button through, and then we'll be probably having some fog lights tonight. So yeah, so tonight went from basically disappointment, you know, thinking like, oh, this is not that long, like I thought it would be longer, to figuring it out. And that's the biggest part of doing all these things DIY, is like, you're getting to learn this stuff. You know, this is your experience here. Yeah, it's a little bit time consuming, but who cares? I mean, like, you'll be able to teach someone one day, you'll be able to teach your kids or whatever, I don't know. If my kids ever need help, which I don't have any, you know, then I'll know how to do it. But yeah, this is why it's cool to figure these things out and do it yourself. It's taken me, what, I think, I'm probably like hour 5 minimum. Probably like 4 or 5, to be honest with you, like 4 or 5. Probably have maybe like another hour and a half, 2 max to finish this thing. And then that's probably including putting the truck back together and cleaning up. So yeah, not too bad, but I'll catch up with you whenever I get most things set up. All right, you guys, it's been a few hours since we have last met up, and I got a lot done actually. So starting off tomorrow, I'm actually not able to finish this because I need a self-tapping screw for that hole right there, because none of the screws that I have are gonna work for that. I went ahead and just tied up for now too, because like I said, this is gonna be like for tomorrow. So the fuse is all tied up, haven't put the battery back on yet. I did get it through the grommet right there. And what helped a lot was kind of getting my razor blade, cutting it up a little bit, you know, kind of opening the hole to help. Basically, it comes through the same hole right next to power wire for the amp. And this is it right here, as you can recognize it. So it's up there right now. I have it tucked away right here, just for, like I said, for tomorrow, so I can come in here and finish this. Here's the button waiting to be connected. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna put it. I'm really actually gonna need to do an extension on the wire, because that right there is as far as it goes. Like, that's it. So yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of splicing, electrical work in here, but that's not too bad. Should just be some wires. Nothing is gonna hurt it. As long as they're all separated, it knows negative, positive, and trigger. I went ahead and made these permanent though, for these connections. For the fog light wires, you can probably see right there where they're zip tied. So they follow this electrical harness or whatever, down, down, down. And then hopefully you can see this is where it continues. And then we got it right here. So this is actually some extra that I had left over, which is pretty cool to have that. So a little bit of extra, you just tied it up right there, zip tied it with this other wire that goes over here and connects to this guy. And the cool thing is, look, we have a little bit of play. So whenever it comes time to like disconnect these if I need to, it's not really tight, you know, so that's good too. And then it comes across, have it zip tied here to this little electrical harness right here. So that goes across, and like I said before, up there. And then there was a little bit of extra right up here. So I went ahead and zip tied it to this little bar. So this still has some play, but it's not as loose as it was. It was really loose. It was like dangling like crazy. And we're done for installation of the fog lights and the wiring to them. So it's seriously perfect. It's dead on. It was a little too close though. So like I said, if you're gonna get this harness, go ahead and get it in the longer one. I just made it work. So thank the Lord. All right guys, we're back on day 2 getting this thing done. For the trigger, as you saw yesterday, it was too short. So I wanted to kind of maybe come up the dash a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna add like maybe like a foot to it, maybe like 1.5 feet. And there's 3 separate wires. So you have your positive, your ground obviously, and then you have a trigger wire. But they're all different colors. I tried to get the same ones as the wiring harness itself, except they didn't have like a pretty blue. They just had green. So I'll use that, it's fine. It's a wire, that's all that matters. Got the self-tappers, so let's go ahead and get this done. All right guys, this is kind of like my angle attack. I'm gonna chop these off right here and then go ahead and insert the wire as much as I want in between. So I'll solder the wire onto here, and then once I find my proper length, I will solder these guys back on. It's the same, like I said, 16 gauge, it's all the same. So as long as they're not touching each other and they're connected properly, you're fine to do this if you need an extension. All right guys, I finally finished the soldering and like the extension. I think I added maybe like 2 feet of wires. Cut them out, we matched everybody to where they should be. And we added just about, I'd say like 1 foot or so. So go ahead and add on the button and test everything out as soon as I connect the battery. And you'll also see on the diagram your positive, negative, and your trigger. So that's your color code right there. Now let's go ahead and plug everything back in and test it out. All right guys, we got everything connected up here. You and I are going to test this together. So see, we got power, nothing's blowing up. Let me go ahead, let me cut the light off. Hold on. All right, here we go. Oh, yo. Yo. Oh my gosh. It's like having my headlights on, bro. Holy crap. Cannot wait to see them like down the road. Yo, these things are bright. Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, let's, this is freaking sick. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and get it wired up through the dash, or like the bottom part underneath the steering wheel. You know, like I said, just for now, it's kind of temporary thing. I just want to find a good spot to mount it at. Quick PSA. So basically when I went to start the truck and I had everything connected up previously, the whole truck like blacked out when I went to go start it. Right here, I had that connection right on top of the power wire for the amp, okay? So what I did was I stuck it beneath down there, underneath where that little clamp is, completely away from the amp. So I think they were interfering with each other. So that problem should be good to go. For this guy, kind of the same thing. So I put him on the back side, underneath where that clamp is, kind of like actually in the middle, right there. So that's touching that ground right there. And these things are snug. So make sure your things are snug and good to go. But yeah, so now we're set, truck's running, lights are on. So a little peak right there, but yeah, we're all good. Relay's in there. It goes across all the way, the factory harness, and comes in, hits the firewall. Good bit of slack right here. And you know, comes on over, goes up there. And then I have it coming out right here next to my pedal commander. So like I said, little temporary spot, but it's the best place I could think of right now. That I can't see, it's out of the way, and it's functionable. So yep, we're all good to go. So let's go test drive. Also, I had just like a duh moment. I was just thinking back, I put power source for both the fog lights and the amp right on top of each other, and they're both pulling different power, like amperages. I was like, of course they're gonna short each other out. They're pulling, oh, dude, yeah.
Stupid.
So they made it in these new GM trucks. You can't turn the lights off while you're in drive, but go ahead and turn the fog lights off. So you can see the huge difference there that they make. They light up the edges pretty good. So you can see very well. So we turn the lights off, then we engage the fog lights. So that right there, that's pretty good. Then together, boom. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I've been driving this whole time with them on, because like now this just seems kind of dark. Like if I don't have them on, it feels like I can't see anything. But yeah, these fog lights are absolutely perfect. They did the trick to honestly filling in that little gap from the headlights that just, I don't know, it just makes it seem like I have like a newer truck, because like those projector headlights are just so bright. Yeah, and then as you can tell, it doesn't bother oncoming traffic, because he would have flashed me by now. So as you saw from how they were in the garage, they're pretty they're lower than the headlights, so they don't bother nobody. All right guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I am super impressed with these things. I mean, they're just amazing. Y'all can see how their output is. Obviously the headlights help out, but it really fills in the bottom down here. As you saw in the after shots, like it really helps out. But yeah, I love this. This is exactly what this truck needed. It looks perfect. It really sets it off, and I'm in love with it. But hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely was a fun project. I recommend doing this if you don't have any fog lights, because you saw we had those fake little plastic housings. I have no idea why don't they just give everybody some fog lights. I mean, come on now, you know? You're gonna tease me with the little plastic inserts? Come on, you know? Guys, that's gonna wrap it up. As always, like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. It is your choice. And I'll see you next time. Peace out, guys.